Bienvenidos y welcome to the Biz Bruja podcast, where we're claiming our powerful intuition, our sacred medicina, embracing our magic and healing ancestral patterns, invoke powerful creations in our own well-being, our lives, familias, community, and our businesses. Remembering that our businesses are so important at this time. I'm the creatrix of this blogcast, the Biz Bruja herself, Vanessa Codorniu, a modern-day bruja, fourth-generation psychic medium, clinical hypnotist, energy healer, and soul biz mentor and coach. An Argentine-American who started reading adults at 16, became a professional intuitive at 22, and now guides creatives, intuitives, healers, and entrepreneurs to break through fears, connect to the practical power of their intuition so they can serve the world powerfully. Hola, bienvenidos. Welcome, everyone, and blessed new moon in Aquarius. It is the first new moon of the year. And what I've been saying online, on Instagram and other spaces is before we hunker down to really dream into, envision, call in, and set intentions for this new moon, it's really important for us to cleanse. Cleansing can take so many different forms, from lighting an herb, incense, frankincense, and myrrh, from even just a bay leaf, a dry bay leaf. I mean, make sure you have the right container. There's agua florida, as all of you know, and it's really a cologne, but in Latino culture, we use a lot of this to just kind of like let go, breathe, and like really cleanse the nape of our neck. Now, why is it so important to like cleanse? If you're going to set the table for a sumptuous meal, you want to make sure you've wiped it down, especially for me because I have 3 cats, right? And they go everywhere. So we want to clean the surface. We want to clear out the foundation as much as we can before we go on to layer new realities. Obviously, we can't dig up all of the roots and clear them all out, but even setting the intention to clear the energy, to release what no longer serves. I'm actually set up after this recording to go around my house with my incense holder, and actually I'm going to burn some herbs. Like I really like, this is a Palo Santo, sleeve glasses. Let me see, a Palo Santo matchstick. And I really love it. It's sustainably harvested from Hollywood, and I really like it. So you could do something like that, right? And it's pretty delicious smelling, and it's small. And so there's so many different things that we can do in order to cleanse, and setting the intention is the most important thing. You could do it through breath, right? Breathing in, exhaling 3 times. And if you're seeing me on video right now, you would see that there's some smoke, and just using the smoke to cleanse and setting the intention. What this does is allows to really focus on energetically releasing. It's hard to set new intentions and allow them to take root when we're still holding on to old fears, old ways of doing things, old habits, right? And of course, things are not going to be released just because we lit a match, right? But the intention sets things rolling. And there are some things that maybe are released in the air, in the energy, like extra amounts of anxiety, extra amounts of fear and doubt that we put into our own environment, especially like people like me that work from home, right? So whatever I'm going through, it's going to be here. If you don't have agua florida, if you don't have an herb that you can burn, it could be awkward. I'm just clapping into a corner. But clapping into spaces also breaks up energy. A bell, right? We use bells for different things in spiritual practices, and even just allowing your eyes to gently close and invoking and inviting that everything that no longer serves be released with ease and grace. I like to add that because as somebody who's started reading people at 16 and has been doing spiritual work for, I guess, 30 years, there's so many times where I'm like, just change it. Give me courage. Give me energy. Give me this. And boy, how do we get courage? Because we're squashed and then we have to use the courage, right? How do we know how strong we are? Because usually we've survived things. So now I would say, let us release what no longer serves us, with ease and grace. Let it be manageable, especially during these wild times. And so I just showed a couple of different ways that we could cleanse the space, clear the space, but remember that it's really the intention. We can do it in a bath, we can do it in a shower, but it's so important to do it for a new moon because this new moon is wonderful, it's different. It's funny, a family member said to me, what if a new moon was just another moon? You know, I'm like, well, it could be, but for us spiritual folks that look at cycles and look at meanings and look at ways of guiding our lives, it is the first new moon of the year, but it carries with it so much wisdom and a deep, deep invitation. Now, you know, we're going through it. Listen, we're going through it. And I know that there's spiritual folks who really believe this is the best thing that ever happened, you know, the presidency, etc. There's just so many things from, you know, Mr. Musk's beautiful salute to the shutting down of parts of government. There's so much fear. And that's why I came on today. There's so much fear. I've been doing so many Akashic record sessions and astro potential astrology sessions and coachings. There's so much fear about our livelihood, about our LGBTQIA marriages, about Latinos, right, and BIPOC, and just where we stand. And even, you know, the recipients of most of the diversity hires are actually white women, right? So there's just so much going on. Everything's being shaken up. And I would like to invite us into the understanding that perhaps everything's being shaken up so we can come out of the other side more rooted, more clear, and more tapped into who we're going to be on this in this new reality, in this new world. And I don't mean new reality, the reality of the next 4 years, but I mean the reality that we are creating together, right? The reality that we want equal justice, equal rights, equal support, equal opportunities for everyone in the world. I do. I do. I'm not someone in my own bubble who's like, well, as long as I'm okay. I don't believe in that. That's not who I am. The thing is, a lot of us, because we're scared or in doubt, sometimes don't take others into account. And I believe firmly that when we're talking about being spiritual, it's not about just protecting our own ass and protecting our own backyard or protecting our family. It's about making sure that all of our brothers and sisters, especially maybe the ones who don't have a voice, who are not as seen, also get what they need. And so, again, there's no judgment here, there's no calling out, but it's just looking at what is, right? And what is right now is a lot. It's a lot worldwide. It's a lot in terms of where our emotions are being dragged around, you know, do that and that's happening and this happening. People are reactive. And I want to remind us that in 2020, when COVID came around, you know, there were so many conspiracy theories. And I'm not saying that maybe some of them weren't right, but I remember friends sending me these, you know, and family members sending me these videos. And they're like, don't you care? Aren't you upset? And I'm like, well, honey, I'm too busy serving the community. I'm too busy right now being of service to be freaking out. And so that reminded me today of like, how do we stay grounded, continue to encourage ourselves to be in our authentic selves, to be healthy, to be bringing in our mind, body, and spirit wellness, and hold our family and our world together, and also serve. And so for me, what I've done, I guess, since I'm a kid, maybe I was trained in a dysfunctional home, but nonetheless, it panned out. That focusing on service has always supported me. Focusing on creativity and how can I, you know, bring wisdom to the space, or how can I support the space? How can I hold space for what we're going through and for what I'm going through, has always served me. So, of course, everybody who's listening is different. But just remember that in 2020, people were freaking out. In 2021, 2022, there were still freakouts. And so try to stay calm, because everybody's just learned, or mostly everybody's just learned about how to manage our nervous system the last couple of years. And now we need it. We need to be able to do the EFT, even though the US is going through hell, and so am I. We need to be, right? And I'm not an EFT expert, but I'm tapping right now. We need to do our EMDR. We need to get our butts into therapy if we can. We need to do right, light our candles, cleanse our spaces, all the things that you've learned. And most people didn't grow up with this, right? Some people did, most didn't. Most people that I heard learned Reiki during the pandemic. Most people learned about energy healing, crystals, sound bath, yoga, right? All the things when they went in and were stuck at home. This is our chance now. So that prepared us for what's coming and what is. Now let's use all those techniques, right? It doesn't mean that it still doesn't suck, but at the same time, is how can we shift our energy so we are healthy, so we are getting enough sleep? And I'm going on a lot about this before I get into the new moon, because I think we need to remember where we've been, and we need to bring the wisdom in, right? That's the invitation. If you're willing to accept it, that's what I've invited myself into. How can I be of service during this time without dying, right? Without killing myself, without running out of energy, without draining myself. And I invite you to look at your life and see what no longer works. Are there things that you need to release from your schedule? Are there new things you need to add to bring yourself more joy? What is it that we're needing in this moment in time right now? Do we need to turn off the news and just take a deep breath in and connect to nature? I highly recommend it. What do we need in order to thrive now? And that's a question that, coming into this new moon, really, really brought forth this energy of, what vision do I have for myself? And you'll know why I'm talking about this. So in a moment. So the first new moon of 2025, right, just arrives in Aquarius today, January 29th. And it's bringing with it not only this fresh energy, but it's also setting the tone for the year ahead, right? So the tone may not feel so great, but this new moon in Aquarius is also giving us some hope, because it's thinking outside the box. It's a humanitarian, right? I mean, it could be fanatical, but it's also humanitarian. So this new moon is not just about fresh starts. It is about innovation, freedom, embracing the future in ways that are uniquely aligned with our own personal truth. So Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, is the sun, and is the sign of the visionary, right? There's usually like a person with holding, it's a water bearer, right? Holding a jug of water, kind of giving water to humanity, nurturing us. It's the sign of the visionary, the rebel, the forward thinker. This is the time to really work on releasing old, outdated patterns and make space for new ideas, unconventional paths, and radical change. Now, in that radical change, I want to throw in radical self-compassion. I don't think this is the time for hustling, because otherwise we're going to get real tired real fast. So if you're feeling like you're struggling in any area of your life, really allow yourself that radical self-compassion. We really need time to bounce back from last year, the holidays, what's happening in the stock market, all the things, on the world stage, on the local stage, and just breathe, right? So Aquarius thrives in this realm of the collective, right? This new moon might encourage us to think about our role in society. And that's what I was talking about. How am I of service? That doesn't mean we have to run around and volunteer. That doesn't mean we have to, you could. It doesn't mean that we have to give up all the things that we do that we love personally. But the thing is, who am I going to be in the world stage, on the world stage right now? Who am I going to be for myself? Who am I going to be for my family and community? Who am I going to be for the world? I can feel like a heavy weight, but it's really in alignment with who you already are. I'm a healer, I'm a leader, I'm a teacher, I'm a speaker. I'm going to continue to be that and find ways to nurture myself in order to be able to nurture my community as well. Because the thing that we always say, well, if you don't, when if there's an issue on a plane, you have to put the oxygen mask on for yourself first. So that's a really important part of this, right? And this new moon is encouraging us, inviting us to think about our role in society, our community, the broader collective consciousness. What is your vision for the world? Just breathe that in. What is my vision for the world? And another question is, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? Now, this is a powerful moment to reflect on these questions and set intentions that go beyond personal goals, right? Because it's all the things we want to achieve. Beautiful, beautiful. But there's also intentions that we hold for humanity, intentions that we hold for community, for our family, for our children, for our lineage. What ancestral patterns have we transformed and healed? And what are the new ones that we are busy rooting into existence right here in our breath and our mind and in our spirit? And so it's really about going beyond. This is a powerful moment to reflect on these questions and to go beyond the everyday, thinking about just ourselves. It's about tapping into our higher calling, about aligning with something bigger, something for humanity, right? I know it feels like a lot, but our energy counts. Our energy counts. And remember that when the pendulum swings to extreme to one end, it always goes the opposite. And the energy of this new moon also supports breaking free from limiting beliefs and exploring ways to be more authentic in how we express ourselves. It's so interesting. I was in a healing session for me, and I always do that. You know what? You can only give as much as you've got, and you can only hold people as far as you've gone. And that's why I was working on myself. And I was like, I feel sometimes that people around me want me to let go of my business and just settle in and be like everybody else, you know. And there's nothing wrong with having a 9 to 5, there's nothing wrong. But it's really weird, even among online business owners who still don't fully support themselves from the online business or the hustle that they have, or the hobby, or however you want to call it, um, to have somebody who's like been doing this 13 years full time online. And so it's I have felt that pressure sometimes of, oh, that's weird. Oh, it would be so much better if you knew that you had this check and you had these benefits and you had these things. But my unique expression of myself, right? And by the way, I have friends who love what they do and they're 9 to 6 or 9 to 7, right? That is their calling. So I'm not saying like everyone else that they have a regular job. No, everybody's unique. People who are teaching and people who are speaking and people who are guiding our youth who have a 9 to 5 or 7 to 9 or 7 to 5, if that's what they're wanting, that's for them. But I've always kind of been outside the box where I felt back in the day that what I wanted to do wasn't really under a job description, that my skills were different, that I could tell like a person's like personality patterns really, really fast. And I identify patterns really quick. And, you know, I'm a psychic medium. Like, I know things about people. How are you going to bring that into the conversation over the water cooler? Right. And I mean, I did. I just didn't tell people your grandma's standing behind you. I'd just be like, oh, I have this feeling that perhaps maybe this is better for you. And they'd be like, oh my God. And so, wherever you may land, whether your gifts are particularly supported through a 9 to 5 and through a job or working in an organization or a nonprofit or a school or a university, or whether you're someone who's like, oh my God, my skills don't really fit anywhere. What do I do? Know that however we do whatever we do, it is uniquely us doing it our way. And so, how do we more authentically express ourselves? And if there's a part of you that's been holding back or conforming to societal expectations, now's the time to liberate that part of you, right? And what does liberation look like to you? I can say this. I was talking about earlier that as a Latina, I was expected to be, you know, responsible. I'm the oldest sister. I translate everything. I'm the one who has to get good grades to set the pattern for everybody else. I have to get on honor roll. I have to figure shit out by myself because people don't really speak English around me. How am I going to do my own homework? That's how I grew up. And there it was always like the energy of leading the pack and taking care of kids, right? And taking care of those behind me. And so the pressure of being the responsible, being the older, taking care of business, showing up intelligently, it didn't let me be as silly as I really am, as I wanted to be. And so, how one of the ways that I liberated myself over the last 8 years is doing improv, which you all know if you've been listening, and that's improvising a whole scene and characters and situations. And I want to talk a little bit about a workshop that I'm teaching in New York, actually, in a minute after this, or actually in a minute. But that's how I let go of the expectations. It's like society and life. I was able to be responsible and intelligent and do all the things that I had to do that got me to my online business, that got me to be the healer that I am, and the connoisseur and the expert in my fields, right, in my areas. But now I get to be a ridiculous dog on stage who pees in every corner of the stage. You know, not really, but you know what I'm saying. Improv wise, I get to be 5 different people. I get to be people that I would never be, make choices that I've never. That's how I liberated myself. So I'm not telling you all to go to improv, but I am telling you all to go to improv. No, I'm kidding. But what does that mean to you? What is liberate? Is it writing your poetry? Is it beginning to dance again? Is it going to take walks, going to back to camping if that's what you loved? We liberate ourselves in different ways because each and every one of us maybe is conforming in our own unique way. Now I'm going to take a little break, and I do want to share and invite you to an improv workshop that I have in New York City. We have about 5 spots left. And it's happening Saturday, February 22nd from 1 to 4 p.m. in Long Island City. And it is hosted by Sandoval Collab and Casa Wellness. And so what we'll be doing is people will be gathering at this gorgeous duplex. We will be tapping into the energy of yes and. We will be exploring improv foundational beliefs and foundational rules so we can play, release, let go of perfectionism, tap into creativity. I guess maybe regain faith in collaboration and teamwork again. I mean, I'm not saying that we've lost it completely, but and so it's a really wonderful workshop. I already have amazing people coming. It's diverse and it's only $97. It's for 3 hours. So if you're somebody that is always sticking to the programming as per usual, step out of the box. Let me know. It's called Improv Unleashed, and I'll include it in the summary below. So, okay, I did my little improv share. But so getting back to, right, where we are right now. So, how do we liberate ourselves? Whether it's taking my workshop or not, singing again, writing again, sleeping more. You may need to liberate yourself from the belief that you have to work really hard every day and all the time and be productive, quote unquote, and then just rest more. Your liberation is a personal journey that also affects the collective, right? Because if you need rest, we all need rest. If I want joy, then we all need joy. This lunar phase is ideal for pursuing projects or dreams that might have felt too out there or unconventional in the past. So you get the feel, right? It's about stepping out of comfort, stepping out of comfort. Now, at the same time, Aquarius is a fixed sign. So anybody who's fixed out there, who's quaking in their boots, don't worry, it's okay. And let me tell you, I was receiving this message. I was stressing about something today, and Spirit just kept saying, it ain't that serious. It ain't that serious. And so many times when I open the soul record, so many times when I hear from guides, like, relax, chill out. It's all going to work out. And you're like, I don't know. It looks pretty bad right now. So remember to step out of the comfort zone because, I mean, some things are highly serious, like our health, what's happening to people around the world, surviving another day and being able to take care of ourselves, have a roof over our head and food and keep our health going, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual. But there are other things that we worry about that aren't that serious. And only we can decide what that is. So remember, Aquarius is about detachment and objectivity. So use this time to gain some distance from your emotional attachments. This is the perfect moon to maybe let go of all this freaking out of the memes and the videos and the GIFs and the this and the that of everything we're seeing. We talk about emotional vampirism and emotional vampires. There's so many empaths out here. We're all stressed out for ourselves and for others. Let's not let the emotional vampires suck the energy out of us, right? Let's hone our energy. Let's nurture it. Let's really fill it and recharge however way that looks to us. And then allow ourselves a moment to ask ourselves that question. What kind of leader am I? How am I leading my life, in other words? And what is the vision for my life? And what is the bigger vision for the world that I hold and that I carry within my heart, mind, and spirit? Now, when we talk about the Aquarian as the rebel, this is also a great opportunity to release any beliefs around being rebellious, the black sheep of the family, et cetera, or anyone who's felt like they've always marched to the beat of a different drummer. And so it's so important for us to take that time to do some journaling, meditation. Now, if you're looking to manifest something during this lunar eclipse, no, sorry, there's no lunar eclipse. During this lunar cycle, right? I'm getting ahead of myself. Think big. Ask yourself, after you've done the clearing and the cleansing, ask yourself, what can I do to stand out, to push boundaries, to make a difference in the world? This new moon is about embracing your inner rebel, which we were talking about, your inner visionary, and harnessing the energy to bring something unique into being. Now, I want to invite you into the energy also of don't compare it to anyone else. I have friends, and I've done this too, where we look at, we're like, oh, it already happened, it already got done. And then we're like, we don't want to do it. We're going to do things uniquely our own way. And not everybody gets to see your friend's video, right? There's going to be a certain amount of people, and then a certain amount of people are going to be attracted to your video or podcast or writing or poem or, peach cobbler. You know what I mean? Whatever we do, let's do it with our own unique magic. And let's tap into that. I always call Aquarian time, where the new moon in Aquarius, like working our weird, right? So whether you're starting a new project, shifting your mindset, or simply letting go of what no longer serves in a gentle, graceful manner, the Aquarius New Moon today, January 29th, is really the perfect time for us to take a bold step into the future, guided by our own sense of individuality and collective purpose. So, whatever it is that's in your heart that you want to try that's different, if you need a coaching session to get it off the ground, reach out to me. I'm actually really excited. I am writing a one woman show and I can't wait. And so, what is it that's on your heart that you feel would serve you individually and also in some way support your community and the collective? And I think that a lot of times when we follow our own intuitive joy, when we follow the energy that uplifts us, it can also uplift those around us. Sending you all so much love. Please take amazing care of yourself. Remember that it is about self care over information. We don't need the information overload. We don't need to get caught up in denial or in just projecting horrible, terrible things. Yes, we want to look at things with discernment and truth, but just give yourself that space for self nurture and self love as we all kind of usher in the new visions that we have for ourselves and the world. Sending you all so much love.